As the Portland Trail Blazers enter the final stretch of the NBA season, the pressure is on for their star player, Damian Lillard. While he's undoubtedly one of the best players in the league, there is no denying that something has been off with Lillard lately. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at what's been going on with Lillard, and how his recent struggles could be holding the Blazers back from reaching their full potential. From his shooting woes to his lackluster defense, we'll examine the evidence and ask the tough questions. Is Damian Lillard slowing down the Trail Blazers? Let's find out. When the Suns made the transaction that brought Kevin Durant to their team, it completely reshaped the landscape of the NBA. To tell you the truth, it seemed like an absolute need to rescue the Suns' season at the time of the trade, given how the Suns' season had been going up to that point. The team was losing a lot more frequently than they had in the previous years when they were the top-seeded team in the Western Conference, and it appeared as though their opportunity to compete for a championship was rapidly coming to an end. Chris Paul and Devin Booker had both been sidelined for extended periods due to injuries. Since Kevin Durant is one of the finest players in the league, when his dispute with Brooklyn erupted, the Warriors did what was necessary to get him, even if it seemed like an overpay at the time. Nevertheless, as the regular season is drawing to a close, I believe that the amount to which they overpaid is beginning to sink in, which is the reason why takes such as this one are tiny today. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, two of the Suns' top wing players, as well as 4 first-round selections and a first-round pick exchange were part of the whole package that the Suns agreed to trade away to acquire other assets. Mikal Bridges, on the other hand, has impressed everyone in Brooklyn by playing like a younger version of Kawhi Leonard ever since he arrived there. Mikal is currently scoring roughly 28 points per game and has a shooting percentage of 50% from the field and 43% from 3. Hence, not only has he and his productivity been rising in a larger role, but he has also, in some mysterious way, grown even more effective as a consequence of it. His rise does cause us to ask some questions about what was going on in Phoenix, but it is obvious that we need to see this continue in a bigger sample size before we can start naming Mikal Bridges the next major superstar in the making. His emergence does drive us to raise these issues. It is very weird to watch him instantly take off to this degree after he's moved away from Phoenix. I'm not going to suggest that Phoenix was necessarily holding him back, but it is fairly wild to see him immediately take off. And Kevin Durant is only going to be able to play roughly 10 total games with the Suns before the playoffs come around. So they don't have a lot of time at all to create the chemistry that it may require to go all the way to the championship. Although Durant has an extraordinary amount of skill and can score at a rapid pace on par with everyone else, championships are not always decided by talent alone. Because of Durant's injury history, it is difficult to ignore the number of dangers that have come about as a consequence of this move. If Mikal continues in this direction, the transaction might very well turn out to be something of a mistake for the Knicks. The next viewpoint of that we'll be discussing today is one that was provided to us by Colin. In it, he explains in greater detail why he thinks that at this point in Damian Lillard's career, in addition to the current situation that the Trail Blazers find themselves in, Damian Lillard is more of a disadvantage than an advantage for the Trail Blazers. Since Lillard is without a doubt one of the greatest point guards in the league, and his allegiance to the team that picked him should be rewarded rather than condemned, everyone's natural response is to label a take like this insane. This is because Lillard is one of the finest point guards in the game. But there is some delicacy that has to be given to this circumstance, and at a certain point, it does become wiser to apply the statement: if you love them, let them go to the issue. Since they are no longer in the running for the playoffs, the Trail Blazers have decided to bench Damian Lillard for the rest of the season. This decision was made because the team has nothing left to play for. Lillard continues to insist that he wants to build a winner in Portland, and doesn't plan on going anywhere else. But the fact of the matter is that, as it currently stands, the Blazers don't have any real road to contention shortly. Lillard continues to insist that he wants to build a winner in Portland, and doesn't plan on going anywhere else. This summer, Lillard will be 33 years old, which means that the clock is ticking for them to be able to do so while he's still playing at his best. They have not been successful in luring any high-profile free agents during the tenure of Damian Lillard. Thus, it is safe to say that they're not among the best destinations for free agents, even if they have a few assets that they might maybe trade for a big name. I'm not quite certain that a deal that includes Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe in addition to some draft money is superior to what other clubs on the market could potentially offer. Lillard is almost holding the Blazers hostage, preventing them from rebuilding, which has in turn led them down this path. The result of which is, at best, mediocrity. Almost every basketball fan at this point acknowledges that it's probably time for the Blazers to rebuild, but Lillard is almost holding them hostage. The final point of view that we are going to go over today comes from Nick, who believes that Zion Williamson's history of injury problems will always be a factor in his performances, and because of this, the Pelicans would be wise to trade him while his value is still high, and before it's too late to do so. The journey that Zion Williamson has taken through the NBA to get to this point is depressing, to say the least. When he's healthy and on the court playing, he's an incredible talent who controls the paint as very few players can in today's game. He is also tremendously exciting to watch. This year, he and the Pelicans were looking like they were going to be a real force to be reckoned with, sitting atop the Western Conference standings early on in this season. His combination of strength and agility makes him a walking mismatch for defenders, and he was looking like a walking mismatch for them. But at that point, injuries, which have been a constant problem throughout Zion's career, hindered his growth. There are reasons to be concerned about his health and durability going ahead. And if the Pelicans do not believe that they can construct a championship team around him, then it may be in their best interest to explore their trade possibilities, while his value is still relatively high. The Pelicans are faced with a difficult choice since Zion is undeniably a once-in-a-lifetime talent. But they are required to make a choice that is in the best interest of the long-term health of their business. Because of the injury he sustained, he has been out for the last 3 months, and as a result, the Pelicans' season has gone from bad to worse since then. The fact that they have recently extended him to a long-term max deal, although he has only been able to play a total of 114 games over the last 4 years, is such a difficult circumstance to be in. If Zion were to regain his health, the Pelicans would be in the running for a legitimate championship spot very immediately. They are that close. If, on the other hand, he's only seldom, then the situation is much more complicated. And although you should never try to anticipate future injuries and base your reasons for moves on that hypothetical, I don't think it's insane for the Pelicans to at least examine other alternatives. I don't think it's crazy for the Pelicans to at least investigate other choices. I don't believe they should be in any hurry to try to move on from Zion Williamson, since he's that dominating when healthy. And you can't simply replace that sort of ability with another player. They should wait as long as possible before making that decision. You have time to work this out since he's under contract until 2028. But I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't becoming a little bit worried. He's under contract until 2028. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you agree with our assessment of the situation? Or do you have a different take on what the Trailblazers should do with Damian Lillard? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. We cover a wide range of sports topics and provide in-depth analysis and commentary. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.